Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Viva Nishmasim Mimirosirus Bas Mordechai. Hayoim Shiva Varboim Yoim Shem Shisha Shevuos v'Chamisha Yomim Boimer Lo Oimer. We'll do a good morning, Rabbi Isai from Africa. Here we go. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Givaldik. I have some very interesting news here. Starting this week, we have a column, basically featuring stories from the shir. If you want to make it to the Ami magazine, come up with a good story, with a good Baba Maisa, and we'll say it over here. It's a very interesting thing happened. So the first week talks about Yossi Saunders and how he learned every Masechta since the beginning, but from every Masechta he missed a few daf, but he keeps on going. He learned 1,800 daf. Also have here the a picture even of the guy who I read his email or his letter, his handwritten letter after 3 months, and he so happened to be here for the first time ever in the shir, and so that's the story. I really wanted to put the story of Eli Silber in there, the story where the guy said that he was watching the shir on Shabbos for 2 years, and then he became a Bal Tshuva through the shir. They advised me not to. They said, the first week, go a little easy, like maybe next week. Sure enough, in this magazine, Mordechai Kamenetsky writes that whole story. So, he wrote it well. He got it. I just want to show you a gorgeous picture that I took myself, if I can say so. It's hard to see these guys. We didn't see them actually in the Serengeti, but before that, the guys from Eretz Yisrael, we went in Nairobi. Look at that sky. Nothing. I didn't edit. Zero. That's how it was. Also, we saw a very chashuv thing. I'll share with you, if I can. So Dave said that he could go out and take a picture in front of this rhinoceros. I said, he'll kill you. He said, nah, I could outrun him. He looked like, this thing weighs over a ton. So I said, no, there's nothing in this safari that you could outrun. Zero. Not even a mongoose, I don't know what. Nothing, zero. Take a look at their speed. They actually do have speed, and they have a nice Gesundheit fight over here. You're not outrunning that guy. Then we also noticed that the largest animals in the safari are omnivore. How do you say? They're not carnivore. They don't eat meat. These guys only eat grass. The elephants only eat leaves and then trees, and the hippopotamus, the same thing. The largest animal, the giraffes, they're the largest animals. You don't have to eat meat. The boy said there was a complete AI with the voices, with the pictures, with everything. Somebody put together advertisement. I got it from 40 people at least. I got it again yesterday, so I'm like, okay, I was just here. Yeah, I saw it, but I'll show it anyway. It's geschmack. If you know the original, then you chop what's going on here.
He flies private in a commercial jet. Reb Sruli and Reb Eli listen to his Daf show. He once made a real estate deal using only one word, shoin. Louis once borrowed his helicopter. His granddaughter got into seminary before she was born. He is the most chal man in the world.
I don't always visit Lakewood, but when I do, I stay at the Haven.
Stay comfortable, my friends.
All right. Dear Rebelli, I'm only reading one email now. Just something I put on our MDY Europe group that you might want to say and share tonight and tomorrow. This is from Yitzi Eisenthal from the Europe retention group. Dear MDY family, we're coming up to the Ufruf of Kabbalas HaTorah and the Yantav of Kabbalas HaTorah. There are 2 points. It has many hours, so it's ideal time to catch up on any missing dafim. It brings a renewed power of Torah learning, the chizuk to continue. Let's use the Shabbos and Yantav to give us the boost we need. 2 years to the Siyam HaShas, Good Shabbos and Good Yantav, Yitzi Eisenthal. This is what he put on his group, so it's a good idea. Do we have that other video, Gary? Where? Maybe you play it. If you put it in, play it. Okay. So nisht. Yesterday we, in middle of shir, it might have been the first time, in middle of shir there was sirens. And I'm not going to call it a middle shir. It was the middle of the emails portion.
That's the most important part.
It might be important, but it doesn't stop missiles. So we all left very nicely. Anybody that wasn't Hasidish, we all left. And we went into, I come back, this is schmoozing here, like nothing happened. I reminded them, I said, listen, you don't have to, I get it. But this roof happens to be not metal, concrete, like all other roofs. The fear is that a projectile, so not the actual missile, sharpenal. And we actually have 1 block away, a place that I learned for a few years in Pnei Shmuel, the whole fuselage, something massive, fell down on their front steps, where kids usually hang out, and because they were inside in the Chemar Mamad, nobody. Here we go, Rabbi Isai. Erev Tov Chudim. All right, so we're all in that, not a mamad, but the closest thing we have over here, which is the stairwell. Rabbi Isai, we have a very easy daf. Eat mamish. Oh, guest here, guest. What's your name, Tzaddik? No, what's your name? What's your name? Tell us. David. When was the last time you were here, David? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam mechayim mesim. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Wimpheimer. Michael Wimpheimer from TNEC.
Ooh, Shalom
I
Aleichem.
grew up next to that guy over there.
Ah, that's why you're so. And that's why you're here?
We grew up about
I threw him under the bus by mistake. I didn't have. He comes every day. I'm kidding. He's like here. He's one of the kvuim. Shalom Aleichem. Rabbi Vanderveld.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Tzach? Thank you.
We miss you.
You live in Lakewood now? Givaldic. Who else? You're kind of new, no?
A sharpman.
But you were here once before. What?
Once, like 3.
1, 3 is the same. What's your first name?
Ezra.
Ezra Sharfman. Should be very proud of your brother. He's unbelievable. But Emmett's an unbelievable guy. He goes above and beyond. It's unbelievable. Right, who else? He loves that. Yeah. Rabbi Isai, the Masechta is sponsored by anonymous Hatzlacha, bruchnius, Gashmias. The monthly sponsors, Leah Zechariah ben Moshe, Leah Zechariah ben Yosef. Oh, I'm going to forget. So, I did forget already. But a bunch of people donated yesterday for Gemaras. We're still looking to raise over, I would say, right now about $80,000. We started yesterday at 100. I don't know if I could say his name. Could I say Shlomo Lazarian's name? He gave $20,000. $20,000. What's the guy in the Hebrew shir? I said we're looking for Hebrew sponsors also. A guy got up, gave 100 Gemaras. What's his name? Yechiel Amar from London. He's more of an English-speaking person when it comes to all the Hebrew shiurim. If anybody else wants to be mishtatef, again, I challenge the olam to find a tzedakah that has more of an effect. Return on investment. The greatest return on investment, you could change a person's life, and usually by changing a person's life, you change his whole family's life. By giving 1 Gemara, he gets a free Gemara, boom. No one has ever come to me and said, I have a better tzedakah than that. No one has ever told it. I know I'm biased, but I'm throwing it out there.
Maybe shuvu.
But how? For $55. For $55?
They're teaching kids. They're changing.
But it doesn't cost not $55.
Thing.
I said $55.
$55. You're changing kids' lives.
How?
Maybe shuvu.
Okay.
Maybe that.
If you explain how you could do it for $55,
you give me money to a school. They're teaching the kids.
it's not $55. $55 is one day. I'm talking about a one-time thing. Parnasa Birevach Baruch Tzvi Nissim ben Shoshana Leah. ActualEyes in honor of David. There's 1,000 other tzedakahs and they're all great. I'm saying that amount of money. In honor of David, Merkin of Eastern Union and all Silver Spring daffers. Eli Dyckman, you're going to go down in history. The one guy that challenged it, but the Eilam didn't really agree. Eli Dyckman for the Refuah sheleimah of Tinok ben Rivka. No, but $55. You need a $10,000 to get a guy in. Ask, hello. Ask Wolfs and ask, what does it cost him to get a guy to do tshuva? It costs thousands of dollars per person. I think it's $10,000 a person. You have to pay for the rabbeim. You have to pay for the facility. You have to pay. Saying $55. Anonymous. Hatinok Adir Ronen Ben Ilana Sara. B'schos hachzokas leim diadav yiskim meher Refuah sheleimah min HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Eli Ashir. Refuah sheleimah from Moshe ben Nitza. Lakewood, Central Jersey, MDY family. Yesterday they opened up the 12th satellite place in Yerushalayim. There was like 20 people there in Lutsk. There's 30 people there. No, I like to exaggerate on the lower. No, I go. There's 30 people there, and that was where Benny Rudnick, he started the first one. He bought a screen and went across the street from the Waldorf. They had Lutsk there, and he started it. And this, are they using your screen? No.
They actually moved the place.
Yeah, they moved, I know. So I was once giving a shir in Lutsk, and Avremi came with all his equipment and set up a whole TV screen and everything. TV is broken. And all of a sudden the guy goes, a year ago, Benny brought a screen here, and we pulled it out, and it saved the day. I said Leah Nishmas, right? Leah Nishmas, David Yitzchok, handler of Shalom Ben Yabelchaim, Toivim, Moshe, son of our dear friend and fellow Lakewood MDY. And Leah Nishmas, Abochaim, Zelig, Aryeh Burl, all of Shalom. And Abocha, Rafal, Fam, all of Shalom. 3 young Bochar. Anonymous, in honor of the dark Sephardi, I wanted to donate Gemaras, but this is the first link I see. Every day it changes. Daily sponsors: the Ash, Davidson, Feder, and Glazer, children and grandchildren. Oh, what did I say? The Ash, Davidson, Feder, and Glazer, children and grandchildren. Mazel tov to Lenny on his 70th birthday. Oh. May you have health and nachas until 120. Joe and Galia Berry, Lila Nishmas, Joe's mother, Dvara Bas Zev, on her yard side. Anonymous, thank you for elevating the Serengeti to this right place. We were the guests Wednesday night shir. Otpam? What happened?
There were the Chabad guys that came. The Chabad guys that came in your shir. From LA.
Oh. Okay, we were the guests Wednesday night shir. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Shkaya. Thank you, guys.
$55 to save a life.
Wow. This $55, Beis Hashem is going to go. Sometimes it's a bust. You get a guy that, this is going to the guy that's going to save his life. Shkaya, thank you.
If he gave 55, I'll give it.
Oh, the best investment. This is more than Shuvu. Wow. Shkaya.
What does Shevuos cost to save a life? Because I want to be in on that also.
Good stuff.
David and Mayor Hochhauser. Shkoyach, in honor of Ahuva's birthday, her support during unemployment and helping me come to MDY daily. Where is he, David? Shkoyach. Wow. And to give a donation such a massive, kol hakavod lecha. Baruch should pay you 100,000 times over. Amen. Yomi Biton, Yisrael ben Chaim on his 10th yard side, his now 11-year-old son. What are you laughing? It's not the right time to laugh. Nachamal. Yomi Biton, Yisrael ben Chaim on his 10th yard side, his now 11-year-old son. 11-year-old son, you hear what's going on here? 11-year-old son, Moshe Gedaliah learns the daf every day. Wow, get over here, get over here. Come here, get over here, let him through. Central Jersey ATV Club joined this year for a free trip in honor of Rebelli. Central Jersey ATV Club joined this year for a free trip in honor of Rebelli. Listen to this. Yomi Bitan, Yisrael ben Chaim on his 10th yard side, his now 11-year-old son. 11-year-old son. Moshe Gedaliah learns the daf every day. What's your name, Shalom Aleichem? I see her every day for the last 5 years. What's your name?
Shimshon Feder.
Shimshon Feder. Shimshon Feder.
6 years.
6 years. Shimshon, where do you work? Tell the island where you're working.
What's a Carrefour?
What's Carrefour? It's a supermarket. Behind what counter?
Supermarket. In the corner, in the Merkaz here.
Right. And you do meat, right? Or fish?
I'm a meat guy.
The meat guy. So this
last
guy,
9 years.
Last 9 years. What? He's leaving. Look at it, he's leaving.
Should I tell you where I work?
Yeah. Get over here. Get over here. This guy's a big tzaddik. He works very, very hard for a living, and he knows how to learn. He goes to 2 shiurim. Sometimes he pretends he doesn't go to the other shiur, and he answers questions in the middle shiur, right?
Yeah.
You're more than Baruch. Okay, good. Shkoyach, this is very, very nice. It means a lot.
Eli,
Rabbi,
Yeah.
I want to save 2 lives.
I got 200 for tuna.
Ah.
2 lives, Rabbi.
2 lives.
I want to.
Woo. There's more than 2 lives. $120. I don't know math. How much?
Me,
He wants change.
What do you got here? We're collecting money. 2 lives. The whole share. We're not going to start share until. Yes. The boy side, this comes from the tuna guy. Dagimtuna.com. Forget the meat. Eat tuna. Yeah, let's go. Okay, I'm not taking anything less than 1,000 shekel now. I'm done. MDY Kids Monthly, Schos for official Shoshana Akiva, Rivka, Mrs. Stefansky. Art of the month. For sheleimah, Yonatan Eitan, Ben Basheva, Bracha, Refuah, sheleimah, Schos for rebellion, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoy so many. In honor of Yossi Klein and Marcus Ashkenazi for all the work to do. I'm serious. I looked at the clock. I was like, wow, it's 7:16. We're going to get a great start here. All of a sudden, it's 11 minutes later. I'm not sure. I stopped. We didn't have an email for 10 minutes. Unbelievable. Okay. Ishkoyach. Boy side. We're holding 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 lines from the bottom. Daf Chof Ches Amud Beis. What happened was, Eifa, the brother, was talking and learning. He was saying over Masechta Shevuos. His brother Avimi walks in. And his brother Avimi says, let me ask you some questions on Shevuos. You're standing there in front of everybody, and you're saying it, you probably know your stuff. So he asked him all these questions. He says, Shevuos shelo yochal teisha. He first swears, I'm not going to eat 9 apples.
Dates.
It doesn't matter what. I say apples, you say dates. I know, it's dates, it's figs, whatever they are.
It's figs.
Veser. And then he swears, I'm not going to eat 10 figs. 9 figs, then 10 figs. 9 apples and 10 apples. Mao. What's the halacha? So he says, chayev al kol achas v'achas. He says, you chayev, why? Because you added. You went from 9 to 10. He says, Omer le ishtabasht. What are you talking about? You mamish got confused. I fooled you. Itesha lo yochel, eser lo yochel. By the time you get to 9, you're over the Isser. What happened? He said, first, I'm not going to eat 9 apples. And then he said, I'm not going to eat 10. 9 comes before 10. So when you get to 9, you're already chayev. In his mind, he thought, he's adding to the shvuah. 10 comes after 9, so he's making another shvuah on number 10. No. It goes by how much you can eat. Since he's not allowed to eat 9, so certainly he can't eat 10. So the second shvuah didn't add a thing. You only chayev 1 shvuah. So let me ask you another question. Let's reverse it. Shevuos shelo yochal eser. First he swore they won't eat 10. And then he says, V'teisha, and I won't eat 9 mao. So he says, that's pashut, and chayv elachas. Reminds me of the famous story. A Harvard professor comes to a Rav and he says, I want you to teach me Gemara. I heard Gemara is the smartest book. It makes people really smart. Teach me. He says, I can't teach you. You have a goyish cup. I'm not teach. He says, no, I'm a professor. I teach. He says, okay, fine. If you could pass this test, I'll let you in. I'll teach you Gemara. So, okay, 2 people came down the chimney. One, his face was dirty, and one, his face was clean. Who's going to wash his face? He goes, no, it's for real. The guy with the dirty face is going to wash his face. He says, no. He's looking at the guy with the clean face. And he sees he has a clean face. So he figures he also has a clean face. So he doesn't wash his face. The guy with the dirty face, with the clean face, looks at the guy with the dirty face and he thinks that his face is dirty because that guy's face is dirty. So it's actually the guy with the clean face that washes his face. He says, okay, fine, you got me. Ask me another question. He says, okay. 2 people come down a chimney. One has a clean face, one has a dirty face. Who washes his face? He says, we already established. The guy with the clean face. Oh, shaita. No, it's the guy with the dirty face. The guy with the clean face knows he has a clean face. He doesn't wash his face. The guy with the dirty face, okay, fine. He says, no, ask me another. 2 guys come down the chimney. Okay, it's the guy with he says, no, they both wash their face. Since the guy with the clean face sees the guy with the dirty face, he goes and washes his face. So the guy with the dirty face realizes he also has to clean his face. So they both wash their face. Okay, no, ask me. 2 guys come down the chimney. He says, both wash. He says, no, both don't wash. Because the guy with the dirty face sees the guy with the clean face, doesn't wash his face, he also doesn't wash his. Okay, ask me another question. He says, you shaita. How is it possible that two people come down the same chimney and one has a dirty face and one has a clean face? The whole thing doesn't even start. Gewaldig. So he says, he's asked his brother, no, a guy makes a shvuah on 9 and then he says 10. How many shvuahs? He says 2. No, it's 1. Okay, so ask me another one. He says, okay, he first made a shvuah 9, then he says, on 10, and then he says a shvuah 9. How many? He says, only 1. No, it's 2. Okay. Now weiter. You're confused. When he first makes a shvuah that he's not going to eat 10, so he only becomes usher on the shvuah when he gets to apple number 10. When he makes a second shvuah and he says, I'm not going to eat 9, so he added something. Now, even if he eats 9 apples, he's over on the shvuah, so the second shvuah is a real shvuah. So now he's over, if he eats 10 apples, he'll be over on 2. Why? When he gets to the 9th apple, he's over on the second shvuah. When he gets to the 10th apple, he's over on the first shvuah. Omar Abayo, if you really want to be like that, maybe Avimi was actually, or Ephah was very smart, and he actually meant something very deep. After all, we called him the Charif of the Pumpadisa. These are the sharp ones of Pumpadisa. I could find a case where a guy first swears 10 and then swears 9. You tell me that if he swears 10 and then 9, he has to bring 2 korbanos. He was over on 2 shvuos if he eats 10 apples. Why? Because the second shvuah also takes place because 9 comes before 10. I can find the case where if a person swore 10 and then 9, he's only chayav 1. Very simple case. If a person swore they won't eat figs and grapes, so when is he over on the shvuah? Only after he eats both the figs and the grapes. And then he made a second shvuah which says that he'll be over easier and quicker. Even if he only eats figs, he'll be chayav. So, let's think about it for a second. A guy makes a shvuah, he's over on the shvuah if he eats 2 items, dates and grapes. If he eats the dates or the figs first, he's not chayav. If he eats the grapes, then he becomes chayav because he ate both items. Then he makes another shvuah. Shvuah that I'm not going to eat figs. So as soon as he eats the figs, he's chayav. And if he eats grapes, what happens? He's chayav again. He's chayav on the first shvuah. So listen to what happens, says Abaye. Great Maisa. He did that. But what happened is, va'achal ta'enim. He ate the figs. So what is he chayav for? The second shvuah, 1 shvuah. V'hifrish karban. But over here, he designated an animal to be the karban. Then he went and he ate grapes. So typically speaking, if a person eats figs and then grapes, after he made a shvuah that he's not going to eat figs and grapes, they combine together, and boom, he has to bring a karban. But over here, he broke it up. Since he designated a karban, so there's no connection between the figs and the grapes. He separated them. He put a wall between the 2 of them, and they don't combine to be a shvuah.
The korban's on the shvuah, not on the item that he's eating.
You're asking how it works. I don't know how it works, but that's what the Gemara is saying. It's making a hefsek. It's showing that something starts after the karban. Now he came and he ate the grapes. That's only half of what he's not allowed to eat. The whole thing of what he's not allowed to eat is grapes and figs. But you can't combine the grapes and the figs because he brought a karban in between the figs and the grapes. So says Abaya, if you take that logic, he made, like our case, he swore first he's not going to eat 10 apples. Then he said, I'm not going to eat 9. And he ate 9 apples, so now he's chayav a shvuah on the second shvuah that he made. Yeah, but he's chayav for the shvuah. That's what for the shvuah, the second shvuah that he made, and he needs to bring a karban. V'hivrish karban, and he designated a karban. And then he ate the 10th apple. So over here also, you cannot combine the 10th apple with the 9 that he ate earlier. Why? Because the karban in between. Havel is chatzi shir. Chatzi shir just means you don't have the full amount to make you chayiv. Chatzi shir lo mechayiv. Great. Says the Mishnah, Ezi Shvuas Shav. So we discussed the Shvuas Shav, we discussed Shvuas Bitui, we even discussed Shvuas Ha'edos. We're going to discuss them again. Ezi Shvuas Shav. A Shvuah, how do you say Shav for no reason? How do you say in vain? In vain? In vain. Pointless Shvuah. Nishba l'shanis is a yedu al adam. You try to change something that human beings know. Omer ala amud shel even shu shel zahav. Something like this. He looks at this marble beam and he says, this is a gold pillar. It's made out of gold. Every person understands that he's talking shtosim. But he said a shvuah. Took a Sefer Torah, said Hashem's name. V'alo ish shu isha. I don't think there's a generation in history that we understand this statement more than today. A man says that he's a woman. V'alio isha she ish. This started already 2,500 years ago, this problem. Or a woman says that she's a man. So that's a shvuah shav. Nishbal davar shi efshel loy. Something that's impossible. Im loy ro'isi gomol shepereach ba'avir. Here, it's a famous Yoshi picture. I swear I saw a flying camel. I saw a flying camel. What could it possibly mean? So what was he going to say? Maybe he was exaggerating. Maybe he meant a plane, an aircraft. Maybe a large bird. What? But he used the lashon of gamol shepirah. I saw a flying camel. Oh, vulture. What?
The Gemara said earlier that there is a musik of gamol pareh.
Yeah.
That's how you get there quicker.
Correct. But you know what, Aryeh? That's the exact same question that you asked me yesterday. You asked me that same question yesterday. No, you said, if it's possible, so then let's be choshesh for that one possibility. It doesn't matter. It's the same question, right? I'm paying attention to your questions. Okay. You better be careful because I'm going to put in the Gemara here. Kan shoyel Aryeh. That's what. V'im loy ro'isi nochash. Listen, and here. V'im loy ro'isi nochash k'koretz beis habad. I swear I saw here something the size of this beam. This is the big beam that crushes the olives to make olive oil. Here, Yoshi did this on it's a big beam. I saw a nachash like this. He was the size of the beam. Omar leidim boyu v'heiduni. Okay, so now we're changing into, this is really Shvuas Eidos. He tells two Eidim, you saw the car accident. It happens all the time. I know people that this happened to. Somebody hits you, somebody runs a red light. Now you have to tell the cops, look, he ran the red light. It's not my fault, but you need witnesses, and there's people there that could testify. They don't want to bother with it. So they say, Shvuah sheleimah yitcha. We're swearing we're not going to give you Eidos. Nishba levatel ha-mitzvah. Somebody swore that he's not going to do a mitzvah. Shalei lasei sukkah. V'shalei lito lulav. V'shalei aniach tefillin. There's a bacher went off. Just maybe 3 years ago. I said it in share. I remember seeing the clips. I didn't want to even look for it. I feel bad. This guy swore. He took his tefillin in front of everybody and he burnt his tefillin. Remember this? It's a terrible story. But just a few months later, he already did tshuva and he was wearing tefillin and he had a lot of charata. But it happens. A guy says, I'm not going to do a mitzvah. Shloi lasei sukkah. V'shloi lita lulav. I'm not gonna shake a lulav. V'shloi laniach tefillin. I'm not going to wear tefillin. Zui shvuah shav. This is the shvuah that we're referring to. Shechayavim al zdoina makois. You have to get malchus. Lashigasa potter. So this is different than a bitui. A bitui you'd get for the shogig. You have to bring a carbon oile v'yored. Over here for the shogig you don't do anything. Rabbi said, check out this beautiful video that he has. I worked hard on this. This keeping in mind that I love Lubavitchers.
Brother, did you put on tefillin today? How about a lulav? Not your thing? How about sleeping in a sukkah? Listen, this is going to be a spiritual experience you'll never forget.
Enough. I swear that I
No.
won't put on tefillin today, won't take a lulav, and won't build a sukkah.
Oh, in that case, I've got a different spiritual experience for you. Hi-yah!
Ow!
Now, you'll receive 39 malchus for a shvuah shav b'mezid. 1.
Ow!
2.
Ow!
3. Ow! I told you this will be a spiritual experience you'll never forget. 4.
Ow! Wait! But don't you need a base tent for Malchus? And it's my warning. And besides, I thought Chabad doesn't sleep at a sukkah. And since I swore unintentionally, I'm putter even from a carbon.
What won't we do to be Makarev another Jew? 5.
Ow!
How you doing?
Okay. Getting better and better. Doilim liked it. Okay, good. Zar, Doilim liked it. Renee, Doilim liked it. Yoshi, who's Eliakim? It's Eliakim. Ari asked me, I don't understand. He keeps on pushing me. He says, you have this coil there, but how do they help the daf? I said, look, the one guy's in charge of this, one guy's in charge of that. They help. Every day they help. Okay? So the Gemara, Shevuos shoichal kiker zu. This guy's in ganzen vermished. First he swears he's going to eat this donut. And then a second later he says, Shevuos shelo, I swear I'm not going to. So now he has a big problem. Because if he doesn't eat it, he's over on the first one. If he does eat it, he's over on the second one. So what is this, Rabbi? What happened here? If we break it down a little bit, here's the guy. There's a yes and a no here. I don't know. This is some sort of challah, I guess, in the shape of a book. He said, I swear I'm going to eat it. So the second shvuah, Rabbi said, what's the second shvuah? What is it? Shvuah shav. It's stupidity. You can't swear you're not going to eat it after you're mechuyev to eat it. Why do you have to eat it? Because you swore you're going to eat it. Once you swear you're going to eat it, you're chayiv to eat it. Midoraisa. So saying a shvuah shelo yochal is a shvuah shav. So if you don't eat it, you're over on the shvuah's bitui. The first shvuah that he made is a shvuah's bitui. If you do eat it, then you're over on the shvuah shav.
But if you have half a share,
What? Oh, correct. That's a very good question. The Gemara asked the question. What they're asking, both of them, on the two sides, on the right and the left. What happens is when you go on a safari, you just get more. The bruchnius hashpa, you start asking better questions. Avira the Serengeti machkim. You hear that?
I'd lie if I said different.
I can't even bear listening to these things.
That's the same comment. That's the same. That's been used a few times.
No, that was on the Serengeti. Okay.
If you remember.
Okay, so Avira the Serengeti machkim coming from Shamshi, who told me, and I might have said this already in public. He told me, he says, if you give me a Gemara and this, I could sit in the Serengeti my entire life. I could look at an elephant for an entire day. One elephant the entire day, he said. That's what he said. It's not a Shevuah. Because when his wife heard it, she gave him 39 malchus. Whatever. Shevuah shoich hakikazu. Shevuah shelo yechleno. Harishayna Shevuah's bitui. Oh, so says the Mishnah, the first one is a bitui. Vashni Shevuah shav. So that we saw already. Achala, so if you do eat the bread of our Shevuah shav, lo achala of our Shevuah's bitui. The one says, of course you're over right away. You're right, the Shevuah shav is immediately, but you're also over on Shevuah's bitui in that case. Omar Ula. When a person says on a bean that it's gold, we already had this in the Gemara. What's beautiful about Shevuos is a lot of chazara. They bring all the Mishnayos later, and we learn it again in the Mishnah. We're familiar. You need 3 people at least to look at it and say this is a beam. Not professionals, just any layman looks at it. That's not gold. Okay, so Shevuos shav. Nishba adav she'yev loy loy reisi. Excuse me. And loy reisi gomel perech ba'aver. I swear I saw, if I didn't see a camel flying through the air, as the Gemara, the Lashon is very interesting. It should have said I saw a camel flying through the air, not I didn't see a camel flying through the air. It's tricky, right? When we read it, we didn't pay attention because we kind of understood what it means. But it says loy ro'isi. My im loy ro'isi, by Omar tini shvuah ro'isi. It really has to be read. I did see a camel flying through the air. Rav Omar, no, let's not change it. If it's going on what he made usher for him. He says, if I did not see, we're using that lashon. If I no see, then yes, I can eat fruit. Then then my Shevuah, what I'm making myself usher to, is chal. So we're going to use the negative, because if I didn't see, then I cannot eat fruit. I don't understand. What? Because he's saying that he's basing it on him seeing a camel. What? Yeah. No, that's the nakuda here. That it's impossible for him to see a camel. So Mela, a flying camel. Mela, then it's a Shevuos. Yeah. I hear what you're asking. They discuss. Why do we have to take his words literally? Let's understand what happened. Mamish, like, Noam was with me in the Jeep, not this past time, the time before, and there was a certain person davening Shemona Esrei or something, and there was a bird. You were also in the Jeep, Avi, and there's a bird. I'm not exaggerating. His head was this tall, and he actually could fly. He said it was the largest flying bird in Africa, and the guy. He went crazy. Emil Shemona Esrei, I don't know if he spoke or Kemat spoke. It sounded like he was speaking, like, guys, look! He went nuts. He's never seen a thing that tall. When you see something for the first time, his head was like 6 feet tall, and he has wingspan, each wing the size of the table. It was weird to see him take off. Like he has to jump a few times and then like running down a runway, and then. So you see, so he exaggerated. A guy like that could say, "I saw a camel flying." He didn't mean a camel. He meant, here, look. He even, where is it? Here, look at this. See, this bird, he has a 9.5 foot wingspan. So it's almost as wide as a camel. If you ever see these guys up front, even a vulture up front, he's this tall. It's a massive animal. You know, I once saw an American eagle up front, like literally touched him. It's massive. It's not a joke. I mean, if you look at these videos, they could lift up a small deer, a sheep. You know, they're massive animals. So let's not. He didn't say, he used camel as a mashal to what he saw. Or perhaps no. You got to go by his word. He said camel. I don't care what he thought in his mind. I need to hear. Does it go by the words that he used or what he meant in his head? So it says the Gemara. Oh, he did this. You know, whatever. This is one of these vultures. And he said camel. And when he swore, he meant what he meant, which is a large bird. Maybe we should only go based on his mouth, what came out of his mouth, his words, and not what he has in his mind. But we learned when they make a person swear, they say, listen, you should know, you can't fool around with us and say one thing and think in your mind something else. It's not going to work. Because your shvuah, what you're swearing is based on what we're thinking in our heads, the Bezin tells him. I just saw a very interesting story. It's nageh a little bit to our sugya, where it's a true story, where a guy was dying, dying, and all of a sudden he realized that if he dies and he doesn't have children, a young guy, his wife won't be able to get married for the next 7 years or so. Why? Because his brother is only 6 years old, and his brother has to do chalitza. So he went ahead and he divorced her. It was a compassionate divorce, like a few days before he was nifter, and he was nifter right afterwards. And then they realized that in the get, they added a name, and he used his new name, which is only 10 days old. They added Chayim, whatever they add to the name. So the Achreinim, it was a real nidain. Does it go by what he meant and by this and now does she have to wait 7 years? And some actually said she has to wait the 7 years. It's a puzzle to get. It's a sad story. Those no. Doesn't go on what we did and what we thought. It goes about, okay. My time up. Yeah, obviously. But you're talking about Isha Sisher, you're talking about what? Yeah, but if it's not a good get, she went on this side. Yeah, no, the warrior definitely posting that say it's okay. What?
That's the Zika virus?
Oh, there's Zika. Maybe he called monopoly money, he called it real money. Basically, he was playing games. In his mind, he was thinking, look, I paid you back. Here's $10,000 of monopoly money, and he gave it to the guy. It's a skundri, it's fake money, it's wooden chips. There's nothing. But in his mind, he said, oh, yeah, I paid you back. So he's taking another word and flipped it in his mind to something else, and his mind works. So that's why I have to invoke the Bezdin's mind and say it doesn't work. The famous story where Rava told somebody denied that he owes money. So Rava said, okay, so swear. So he said, okay. He comes to Bezdin, he shows up with his walking stick. And I forgot to look it up. I remember I was in Kesher Nafshi when I gave the shir, and I thought I had some sort of stick, and I forgot what happened there. Maybe it was a water gun, I don't remember what. I did some shtick. Maybe it wasn't so memorable, so maybe it wasn't so gishmak. Basically, he comes to Bezdin with his walking stick, his cane, and he has to hold the Sefer Torah in his hand. So he tells the lender, he says, do me a favor, hold my stick for a second. So the lender holds the stick, and then he holds the Sefer Torah, and he swears, I paid you back. And what happened was that, here it is. But I have to find the picture. Where is it? Oh, here, this is it. This is the picture. And then it turns, the guy was so furious that he swore falsely with the Sefer Torah, so he broke the cane. And out comes pouring all the money. So that's a great trick. He didn't change anything in his mind. He didn't say camel, I meant bird. He literally gave the guy his money back with a trick. He made him hold the money. Yeah. Which reminded me, Kanya de Rava, I probably mentioned it then. Back in the day, when I was in Chicago, there's a big home run, Sammy Sosa McGuire. Sammy Sosa from Chicago, so the whole Chicago was very into it. He was going to hit 70 home runs in one season. And there were every game, he hit a home run, he hit a home run. And the next, I don't have a good picture, but the next year, they found this in Sammy Sosa's bat. This is called a cork. It basically, they drill a hole and they fill it up with cork, so it gives it more of a pop. So he's cheated. It was such a letdown. All that 70s, Mamish flew out the window, worth garnish, put a stain on his reputation, whatever. That's Mamish Kanye the Rava. Kanye the Sammy. Kanye the Sammy, we'll call it. He put a Kanye in it, he put the cork in his muscle. I got it. Rabbi Schoenberg is looking, he has no idea. How does this relate to football? Cricket. Yeah. So imagine cricket, you put cork
in the wicket.
I think, Rabbi Schoenberg, I think your next article should be on bats and cork, and if that's mutter to, yeah. Oh, Toshma. V'chei motzinu kishishbia Moshe Yisrael. Omar lahem dual shal. Ooh, wow! How do we get here? We got to finish the whole Amud now. Toshma v'chei motzinu kishishbia Moshe Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he made Klal Yisrael swear, Omar lahem du shlo yadat k'mishbia. I got so excited when I saw this. I said, "It's mamish shlishi simei Hagbala." And we're talking about Har Sinai, and Moshe Rabbeinu was Mashbiach Klal Yisrael, and then I had such a letdown. It's like, it's a different time at all. It's at the end of the Torah when he's Mashbiach them. You should know I'm making you swear with my mind and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mind. As the Gemara of Amai. It's Mam Shagadata. Why did he have to say on my mind? He just say, you swear, Lemu, Kaimu ma de Omar Loika. You should do everything Hashem said. Because the thing of it is Zara. As Taisus, a bomb question. I say this mashal over and over, but it's Kishmak mashal. The wife suspects that her husband stole a piece of chicken from her on Yom Kippur. She comes to the tray and a big giant piece of chicken is missing. So she accuses him of eating on Yom Kippur. He says, are you crazy? Are you telling me that I ate this piece of chicken? Here, test me right now. Make me a coffee with milk and I'll drink it. Boss of a chalav. You ate on Yom Kippur, you think that it's going to be a problem. He thinks that they're going to do Avodah Zarah. You know, I make you swear in Hashem's name that you're not going to do they're Avodah Zarahniks. You think they care about a Shevuah? How is the Shevuah going to stop them, as Taisvus? Okay. Different pshatim. The Shevuah is going to give them the right it's going to help them overcome the avodah zarah, whatever it is. So lamishum the avodah zarah nami yikra Eloi ha d'chsiv Eloi hey chesev Eloi hey zav. So you can't make them swear that you're going to keep Eloika's word, because he could think in his mind, I'm thinking about my getchke, which is also Eloika. So just say, I make you swear that you should keep the Torah. Why does he have to say, on my mind? Just say something very direct. Keep the Torah. The problem is, chad the Torah. Torah means one, but we have two. We have the Torah Shabbat Peh, Torah Shabbat Ksav. So say, be Mekayim two Torahs. And you don't need to come on to Moshe Rabbeinu's mind and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mind. Torah's Chatas, Torah's Asham. It says before the famous pasuk, psukim I should say. Zois Torah's Chatas. You want to play games, so they'll say, no, I meant that we're going to keep the Chatas, we're going to keep the Asham. We're not going to keep the whole Torah. So say, Kaimu Kol Torah Kula. Just tell them, I'm making you swear that you keep the whole Torah. Avodah Zarah is also considered Kol Torah. Domar Mar Chamur Avodah Zarah Kol Kover Ba Kemoed B'Kol Torah Kula. It says in the pasuk Kol HaMitzvah that Avodah Zarah is compared to all the mitzvahs. It's as bad as being over in the whole Torah. V'leimelu kaimu mitzvah, just be mekayim mitzvah. So what do I gain from that? Because it says mitzvah, keep the mitzvah. So then they'll do a trick. Chad mitzvah, they'll keep one mitzvah out of the 613. So kaimu mitzvah is keep plural. No, mitzvah is only tarti, it's only two. So he should have told them keep all the mitzvahs. No. Mitzvahs tzitzis, because they'll keep tzitzis and that's it. Sometimes you see, and I get a lot of hana from it. Me personally, you see a guy without a yarmulke, without nothing. He's mamish a bomb in the. They wear tzitzis today. It's a whole thing. Like there's a movement. Tzitzis is geschmack. They won't keep anything, but they'll keep tzitzis. Why? Because when I said in my mind, I'm going to do the whole Torah. I'm going to keep tzitzis because tzitzis is like the whole Torah. Okay. So they do a trick. So so keep 613. Okay, you got me. That's a good one. He should have made them swear 613. Then he doesn't have to invoke his mind and Hashem's mind. But the question is, why did Moshe Rabbeinu have to stick in HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the whole story? Because once you stick HaKadosh Baruch Hu in, then it's a rabbin. It's like just a mashal, a silly mashal. I know somebody that anytime there's an argument in the family, they take a vote. Every kid gets a vote. But his trick is, he says, I'm the father, my vote is 5 votes. So automatically, there's no voting. So if you put HaKadosh Baruch Hu in there, he's at least a rabbin. At least a rabbin. You don't need a rabbin. You don't need 10 people. You have HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's enough. Says Gemara like this. Oh, I should really do the sponsors, which I didn't do yesterday. You can remind me. It's okay. Ooh. Innovation LC in honor of Aristotle's Camel 12 and Israel 9 for learning Sanhedrin magazine Shevuos with the Rebelli. Adar Global answering questions great again. And by Adar Global sponsoring 7,000 Gemaras this year because we skipped his thing yesterday. It's a schos. Anonymous in honor of Dark Sephardi Nuff said.
Just read it again.
I'm sure they did it yesterday. Says the Gemara, if I didn't even see a snake the size of a beam of the olive press. Everybody should have asked this question. If you ever saw a python, I don't even know if I should show it. It's kind of gross, but we'll show a little bit, maybe 10 seconds of it. Here's a python trying to swallow a deer. And it does. Okay, you watch the whole thing, we don't need to see it now.
Anaconda can do a whole.
Maybe that's what it is. I mean, it's an anaconda. It's massive. It swallows humans. Swallows here. Here I had a picture of him swallowing an alligator.
It's an anaconda.
That's not an anaconda. That's an anaconda. Yeah. So it's larger than the Kares Beis Habad. What's the big deal? Says the Gemara, so Rashi says like this. I'll just show you the pictures. Meanwhile, we can see it. There was a snake that was very problematic. It kept on eating human beings, so they didn't know what to do. So they took an animal. They took an animal and they filled it up with coals, and then they covered the animal with hay. And the anaconda came, or whatever this thing is, and ate it, not realizing that it has coals inside. And that's how they got rid of it. The whole thing exploded, became a big fireball. So you see that there was a massive, it could eat 13 stables worth of food. By the way, at the end of in this video, I never knew this. It says that after it ate that deer, the snake doesn't have to eat for a full year. Doesn't have to eat for a year.
It's about 6 months.
6 months. Well, how do you know about these things? 6 months.
It goes down, you can see it.
Yeah, you see in the stomach.
It becomes smaller to the end.
Yeah. Uvaldi. No, they have crazy, I'm not going to say because it's a shear with children, but sometimes they cut the snake open and they find some interesting human beings in there. Omar Shmuel, Betarov. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say it. Omar Shmuel Betarov, because the snake is different. It has a tarov, it has these indentations, so we don't know exactly what that is, but something like, you see like these indentations in the actual wood of the beam, so the snake has these indentations. It says, they all have these indentations. No, on its back you don't find it. This is what Shamshi asked right away. In this case, yeah, right over here. As soon as he says shtusim, once he swore that he's going to eat the bread, so he cannot swear that he's not going to eat it. So once he swore he's not going to eat it, that's a bad shvur. That's shvur shav. You don't have to eat the bread or to be over it. As soon as he mouthed it, that's it. It's over. Yeah, you're right. He's chayiv on the shvur shav, but he's also chayiv on the shvur bitui. Says the Mishnah. Shvuas bitui. This is very easy, and we can literally fly through this. A lot of repetition. Shvuas bitui no heges banoshim u'nashim. The shvua that we just discussed of bitui, even women are over. Now, if you look at Lamed Amud Aleph, if you could look, if you don't have an art scroll, look at Lamed Amud Aleph. The first words are shvuas ha'edus no heges banoshim v'loy benoshim. That whole Mishnah is the opposite of what we're talking about over here. So it's to make the distinction between the shvuas ha'edus, which is next parak, and shvuas bitui and shav. Because Shvuas Bitui does work by men and women, even your own relatives, even people that are Pasal Eidos. We mentioned a number of times, the Shvuas Eidos, since it has to do about testimony, you can't be Pasal Eidos. Shvuas Eidos is only in Bezdin, whereas other Shvuas are not in Bezdin. It's only when you yourself say the shvuah. The other way that could happen is if somebody says, I make you swear, and you say, amen, but it's really like you're saying it, so it only works mipiatzma. Whereas, shvuah seidus is different. And what's the punishment? If you do it deliberately, you get malchus. And if you do it by accident, carbon oil yared. Shvuah shav, same thing, so we could go a little quicker. No heges ba'anoshim u'v'noshim b'rechokim u'b'kroivim b'ksherim u'b'psulim b'fnei bezdin v'shlei b'fnei bezdin, before a bezdin, not a bezdin, or b'piatzmei, and also by yourself. But what's the difference? V'chayom azdoina makois v'shigasa potter. Instead of having a carbon, you're potter if you do it by mistake. Achazu ha'mushba m'piacherim chayav. Both shvur shav and bitui. If somebody else tells you, I'm making a shvur for you, you are chayav. L'mashal lo yachalti hayoyim. I did not eat today. I did not put on tefillin today. I make you swear, and you answer the word amen. It's as if you said it yourself. Chayav. If you say amen after something else that somebody said, it's as if you said it with your own mouth. You said the whole shvuah. We see by the saita. A husband suspects his wife, so he tells her, don't have yichud with so and so. She doesn't listen to him. They find them together. They don't see any act or anything, but he takes her to the Beis Hamikdash, and one of the things, the whole process, the Kohen writes down all these psukim, and he makes her swear. She doesn't swear. He says the shvuah, and all she does is says the word amen, or twice amen, which means amen. Amen. So if you look at the Bryce in the Mishnah, here it is, very, very simple. If somebody else makes the shvuah for you outside of Bezin, in the Mishnah it says it's not a shvuah. In the Bryce it says it is a shvuah. It's a contradiction. The only way to get out of this contradiction is to say that when your chayiv is talking about a case that he said amen. So it's not a contradiction. Yeah, it's all words that we said before. Here we go. In other words, out of Bezdin, Acher cannot make you do a Shevuah. Can't do a Shevuah for you, Duvie Meir. So that's why it says in the top, Potter. Now it says in the Brisa, a lot of words that we know already. The Tanya Brisa, Shevuah say this case. How does the Shevuah of the Eidus work? I want you to come and testify for me. We don't know the Eidus for you. We don't know your Eid. I make you swear. And they said, whether it was before Bezdin or not, whether the other person did it for him, he did it himself. Dear Meir, Kashan Adodi over here, it says that you are chayiv, somebody else makes you out of Bezdin, say a Shevuah. That's our raya. That is the difference between amen and no amen. Shmamina. One more. Same thing. I can prove from our Mishnah. The Katani Shevuos bidu neges is by women, relatives, even people that are apostle ladies. It says in the Mishnah not other people can't make you swear. However, we have a contradiction. It says before was beaten, she was shoved. If somebody else makes you swear, you're chayav. It's a contradiction. You see from here, so there's a difference between amen and not. What is he coming to add? That you could be medayik that exact thing from the Mishnah. There's a difference between amen and no amen. Hadron Allah Shvuos Shtayim. Hadron Allah Shvuos Shtayim. Hadron Allah Shvuos Shtayim. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Good Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos, 10 o'clock.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.